Eric Nicksick's appearance on the Ariel Helwani Show yesterday has people up in arms over what some of his comments were regarding Sean Strickland's performance at UFC 312. So we're gonna watch a bit of the interview, then I'm gonna pull up Sean Strickland's response to his loss to DDP, and I'm gonna give you my full opinion on this whole thing. So, that interests you, stick around, and yeah, let's get into it. I'm going to do this, and then we're gonna go from here. I have timestamps written down that I wanna go through and kind of comment on.
No, I really didn't. I didn't like just Sydney's good vibes, good juju. You know everything that went on out there last time with Israel. I thought it was like the place to be. I was very happy about that situation, getting back out there to fight, and getting the rematch with Dricus. You know, I think there was things that we worked on all camp that were better than the last time around. We had a feel of what Dricus was going to implement. So I was very excited for it, man. I was so just for that type of performance, it was just very underwhelming.
There was some talk about his arm and whether that was a staph infection. A, what can you tell us about the arm? And B, do you think that affected him in any way?
It certainly doesn't help, but yeah, he had staph a couple weeks prior to us leaving. He was on antibiotics, but no, I mean he looked great leading up to the last like week and a half of training. You know, traveled out there, his cardio felt fine, everything felt fine. So
Okay, so he confirms his staff, which was pointed out during the photo shoots and that very visible, right? But Eric Nicksick just said that leading up to this fight, Sean looked good. He looked focused. He was doing really good in the training camps. And then it was just a performance in the cage, man. And I even said this in my review of this card. Like, Sean went completely off in this fight. But I want to fast forward to 340 where he.
it just was a very underwhelming performance in an opportunity.
On Saturday. Do you think that the criticism is warranted? Do you think that it has been fair?
Yeah, of course I do. I do. I mean, we have to be real. Like it just was a very underwhelming performance in an opportunity to fight for a title. You know, there's people in this sport that never even realize that potential to ever even be an opportunity to fight for a championship. That should be enough to get you motivated to get you off the couch. So, it just to me was we didn't perform. You know, so that's all. It's on all of us. It's on me as a coaching staff. It's on Sean, and I think he needs to evaluate what he wants to do in the sport. If it's just to make money, then that's great. Let us know. You know, I want to coach world champions. So my motivations are different. You know, so I think that just to kind of show up and do that and not really back it up, just to me was just kind of uninspiring.
What is
So that was one of the comments that people are mad about, where he he's throwing Sean Strickland under the bus, but you have to look at it from the eyes of the corner because obviously all the most of the pressure is on the fighter. They're the one training every day. They're the one going into the cage, taking the punches, getting taken down, getting cuts and bruises. But you also need to think of it this way. Eric Nicksick, Herrera, everybody in his corner dedicated 8 to 10, 12 weeks focusing on Sean Strickland, getting him ready for this fight and being in the right shape. Now, the staff could have been a factor. But like to put all that energy into somebody and then to have a performance like the performance we saw from Strickland, where as somebody who is a volume striker, Sean isn't gonna knock anybody out one punch. We know this. He doesn't have one punch knockout power. He doesn't have kicks. The way he will win fights is by volume and by TKO. Now, I'm going to pull up Sean's record after we go through this and the Sean's response, but to me, like, I completely understand what Eric is saying. Now, I want to move to, well, actually, the next person coming up, so I won't just watch from here.
Going through your mind as you're watching this unfold? Like you say, you travel all the way across the world. You're with the guy, second shot to try to beat this guy to win back the belt, and you could see your you could hear your frustration building. They kept going back to you in the corner, and you're being brutally honest. You're telling him it's too predictable. You got to go. You got to get a finish. Every time it was building up. But as you're going back to the corner for those 5 minutes, and you're watching this, what's going on inside? What are you thinking?
Just he's kind of checked out. That's kind of what I'm thinking. It's like, you're grasping at straws at that point. You're just trying to get him to do something. And like, like my dad used to always say in football, is like, you got to get something, get the band playing, right? Get the crowd and get motivated, get the momentum on your side again, So I'm asking for anything. The jab and the teep are going to win the fight. It's like if you have a predictable offense and you run this slow paced offense in football and you get down by 30, you don't have the ability to come back and win those games, right? Like you just don't have the ability to come back and win those types of games. So you have to take risks. You have to make something creative happen, and just jabbing and teeping your way to a comeback win wasn't there. So it's like, dude, find a same side head kick, throw some knees up the middle, so throw something different that's not predictable to what Dricus has seen for the last 9 rounds. So we have to mix it up.
And so,
okay, that was one of the reasons I picked DDP to win by a third round TKO. Now, obviously, it didn't happen. He won the unanimous decision. But, like, we all know it's Sean, you're going to get the jabs, you're going to get teeps, but he needs to add more to it. He's not going to, win the title off of that style. He's not going to defend the belt. Like, and he did beat DDP the first time using it. But once you get figured out, because somebody like DDP with such an unorthodox style and a very, very intelligent fighter, you look at his game planning, he is one of the best. He found that out, and he was like, okay, so if I just consistently pressure him, if I, one gin at the right moments, he can't use his jab. He can't keep, use the leg kicks, chop him down. Like, it's, part of me is like, okay, I don't think it was the smartest decision to voice all this on live television. But the other part of me is like, I get it. I understand what Eric is saying. And, but anyways, next fighter's coming up here. So,
when you were talking to him, are you feeling, like, in between rounds, are you feeling that what you are saying is going through, or because at one point I kind of felt like he was getting mad at you? What did you make of that dynamic, and if your words were even reaching him?
No, I felt like that's a typical Sean corner. Usually, like he's just kind of hard to like address. Like he's just kind of moves around, doesn't make a lot of eye contact. So there's times where I'm like grabbing him, like, "Hey, man, look at me." But that's typical Sean. That's when we're winning or losing. That's kind of him in the corner. So whether he was not really listening or taking on the content that we were giving him, was one thing. But no, I felt like he was listening, and like he was responsive to like after one round. I remember he's like, all right, I'm getting my timing. I got my timing, and I'm like, dude, like we don't want to be giving rounds away, especially after the first experience, right? Like it was such a close fight that giving round one away was scary enough for me. I'm like, I don't want to give any rounds away, let alone 1 and 2. So now we're fighting. We have to come back, and really, we don't have that like one hitter quitter comeback mentality with Sean. So that to me was just kind of like, well, we're gonna have to try to start doing something different.
Can I ask, what was the game plan?
Okay, and again, it goes back to the keeps and jab fight styles that like just completely right in saying that Sean isn't gonna get this one punch knockout unless it's a perfectly timed shot where they go down. Even then, I don't even think he has a I don't even think he has a clean knockout. I think they're all TKOs. Um, you know, okay, never mind. I'll pull up the what you call it. I'll pull up his record after we finish this one because I see we're already at 11 minutes.
Well, there was a lot of things that I think that we did well in the first fight that we could build on, and some of those things were,
Yeah, actually, I'm just gonna jump to the last point because I don't really think he's saying much here. There we go.
Response to that assessment.
I think he's right to say that in this particular fight.
Okay.
I don't think that is a. I think that's it's
Response to that assessment.
15 minutes.
To what we heard from Dean Thomas, who was on our show yesterday in studio. I don't know if you saw that, but he was quite critical, honest, whatever you want to say about Sean, saying he's just not that guy. He says he's that guy. He says he's the to the death guy, but he's not that guy. What is your response to that assessment?
I think he's right to say that in this particular fight.
Okay.
I don't think that is a. I think that's it's a broad brush to paint off after one fight. It wasn't our night. It was very flat, very uninspiring night. But I don't think that's necessarily Sean as a person, or I mean, as a fighter. And we've seen him in these wars. We've seen him in these fights. We know he's capable of it, right? So just to say that, like, he's not that guy. Yeah, I mean, he wasn't that night. That's for sure.
Okay. Could I ask, from your perspective? Obviously, you're the coach. You're the.
Okay, and then this is another part of the video that I speak up and on, but like, I think that's exactly what you are supposed to say. And again, too, like, I cannot stress this enough. Eric spent 8 weeks, 8 to 10 weeks, focusing solely on Sean. Pereira came in with his fight with Uncle Ive around the corner. For somebody to dedicate themselves to a training camp when you're not the one fighting, you're getting a small cut of the pay, rightfully so, because you're not the one going in the cage. Like, Eric wants to get titles. He wants to build a fantastic coaching resume, which he already has. He has Francis, he has Strickland, he has so many other guys under his belt who have found major success in the UFC. Now, I want to jump over to Sean's response and just quickly go through this, and then I want to pull up his record and then wrap this whole thing together. Let's see here. Yeah. Where am I at? 14.
All right, guys, keep tagging me about this whole Eric thing, and God damn it, because I like Eric. He's a friend of mine, and he's going to continue to be a friend of mine. Will he probably be in my corner? Probably not. We have so many great guys at Extreme, Nate, Ray Cepho. We have so many savages that I would love to corner me. But, you know, man, that entire fight camp was just a struggle. Like, it was a fucking struggle. And, guys, we all have excuses as to why we didn't win or why we won and we shouldn't have won. We all fucking have excuses, and they don't fucking matter. The only reason why I'm making this video is because Eric had to go do a fucking podcast and become an influencer. So now I gotta, like, all right, kind of explain myself. Opportunity. And not just with fighting, opportunity never comes when it's supposed to. It doesn't matter what the circumstances, what the situation is. You will never wake up and say, no, today is the perfect day for opportunity. It will come at the worst fucking time. It will come at the worst time. And how many times it comes and you raise your hand and you say, you know what, like, I'm fucking ready. A lot of times you fail. A lot of the times you fail, but a lot of times you don't fail. And it's like, you must say yes. This is not an excuse, but that entire camp was just a struggle of I'm good, knowing you're not good. I was in Colombia like 8 weeks out, 7 weeks out, and getting stem cells on a broken bone. Again, bone healed fine, not an excuse. It just kind of weighs in the back of your head. I was training with that Ritter guy, the submission guy, and he hit me with a whizzer. It was already broken. And dude, I thought my arm fucking snapped. I thought my arm snapped. It's like, I got to go to Colombia. Like, this is fucked. But all camp, this is just in the back of your head. And like, you just keep telling yourself, I'm fucking good. And I think this is just what all men do. Like, all men do this. Like, you look in the mirror and like, even though you know you're not good, you're like, I'm fucking good, dude. You're a fucking man. You sack up. But all camp, dude, whether it be, you know, the staph infection, the broken arm, the having to get a visa that didn't get approved until a week.
Okay, I'm gonna cut that quick. I want to play as much of that as I could without interrupting it. But basically, you heard it there. He won't have Eric in his corner. He, you know, he respects Eric. He's friends with Eric. But, you know, to sum up my opinion on this entire thing, do I think it's good to go on live television and spew all of that? No. But I understand it from the point of a coach. I understand it from a guy who's trying to build his gym, build his own legacy of having fighter after fighter in his, gym and that. Like, you look at Sean Strickland, and I gotta mute that. You look at his record and his fight style. His fight style doesn't match. Well, it does and doesn't mesh well with his personality because he talks a lot of shit, but he doesn't have that, one punch knockout power that Eric said. He doesn't have the ability to shut somebody's lights out without it being a TKO. Now, I'm gonna pull this up here and go through this. So, lost the DDP clearly. To me, he lost every round of this fight. Then you had the split decision over Paulo Costa. I thought he won every round of this of the Costa fight, to be honest. But because of his style, it was close. The first Strickland fight, first DDP fight, I thought Strickland won it. I had it 3-2, and yeah, I thought that he won it. I expected him to move on to rematch Izzy or, go with Hamza again. The whole passport and visa thing was the reason why. Then he dominated Israel Adesanya, nearly finished him in this fight. But you look at it, he has one finish in his last 5. Split decision, unanimous decision against Imavov. That's a good one. Lost by split decision, knocked out by Pereira. Not a bad loss. Split decision, flying rear naked choke to Andre Varela. That was submission underground though. Then Uriah Hall unanimous decision. He doesn't have that finishing capability. How many finishers does he have in his entire career? Okay, he has 11, I was wrong. He has 15 in 29, so around 50%. But again, you're not going to beat a guy like DDP doing that. You're going to have to mix it up. You can't do the exact same thing you were doing. Even though, again, I thought he clearly won the first fight. You can't walk into the second fight and do the same thing. And, Eric, I didn't disagree with most of what he said. Now, should he have gone on live television once again? Probably not. But I understand it. I think that this is being blown out of proportion. I think that they're going to remain friends. Yeah, Sean might not have him in his corner, but whatever. They're still friends. They're going to be there for each other. Sean Strickland probably won't be in the title picture anytime soon at middleweight. I don't see him moving down to welterweight. I certainly don't see him fighting Pereira, especially because he trains with Pereira. And if Pereira knocked him out at middleweight, he would murder him at light heavyweight. But that's all I got. This video was a lot longer than I thought it'd be, but I wanted to put as much context in this video. I wanted to have as much of Eric's own words in this video. But yeah, again, I feel like this is blown out of proportion. They're gonna be friends no matter what. I still think that eventually Eric will corner him. Maybe not in his next few fights, but he'll come back. Other than that though, thanks for watching. Let me know in the comments down below. What did you think about this interview? Do you think this was, completely disgusting, or do you agree with Eric where, he put in the 8 weeks and the performance he got from his fighter wasn't good at all? Let me know in the comments down below. Like, share, all that stuff. Thanks for watching. Later.